we'll be diving into dreads and circuses. The Hermit, basically a story hub of Herman Fuller's Circus of the Disquieting. But before I start, is anyone else here? I assume not, but that's fine. I guess I'll just start. The Herman's Fuller's Circus of the Disquieting. Alex, our renowned founder's namesake, is no longer with us. No one seems quite sure what he's got off to. I can't say he suddenly saw the error of his ways and become a missionary with the Mana Foundation to atone for his misdeeds. The colonel said he kindly but fought a fool of the beast. Even he could tame and whatever felt of it left of him now fertilizes a patch of brown grass somewhere. The man with an upside down face says good riddance. Whatever his late, it is certain that Herman Fuller is gone, and surely someone somewhere must mourn him. But the show must go on. Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, Herman Fuller's Circus of the Disquieting is proud to announce the new master of ceremonies. She stated off as just another runaway, but through her sheesh talent and determination, she clawed her way up to them from magician to clown to truth pleader, and now to the ringmaster of the circus itself. I give you the beautiful, the astonishing, the magical Jackie. Come with us now, and allow my sparkling journey through the impossible. Glimpse the wondrous magic and powers that conspire to keep the hidden. Experience the unknown terror of the world that forever lies just out of view. Welcome to Dread and Success. Alright. The first opening act. Go big or go home. Looks like a pig. Go big or go home. It isn't so uncommon. The wooden grinding of wheels against gravel, the pops as pebbles are crushed against one another and spat into the air. The trot of hooves and the smell of horse dung the wagons carry with them. No, that doesn't catch my attention. They are merely integrated sneaking in through the window at night, coming to rest on my pillow and whispering new dreams into my head. Dreams of a white-covered carriage and a handsome, humble craftsman, extending his hand to me to pull me in with him and take me somewhere fantastic. No, these ordinary sounds only lull me deeper. It is the hooting and hollering that wakes me up proper. My eyes crack open. I wonder if the pup down the street has left its door ajar. But I listen to the night, it only fills with more and more cheering. I set up celebrations at this time of night and look out my window at the looming orange moon, shifting as if or the amorphous smoke of the house next door. Midnight at least, an unholy hour to be awake for any girl my age. My heavy head urges me back to sleep, and I nearly follow it, curiosity dwindling, before my nose catches on to a peculiar aroma. One or two deep huffs of air, and all my senses come back in full, awake, alert, and excited. There is a moment's pause as I listen to the night and my body regains its energy. The occasion calls for stealth. Mother wouldn't be so happy finding me wasting my youth on nightly strolls again. I get out of bed and imagine my feet as mouse paws. I slip on something more appropriate for an outing, but I rush and leave behind a fair deal of unusuals. A fair deal of my usuals. I put on my dress but forgo plenty of the ribbons, and I don't don my socks but forget to pull them high. A hat seems ridiculous for a night as warm as this, but I let my hair down because a braid would take too long. Besides, I only have so many good clothes, and the streets are muddy. Another rise in the waves of whoops hastens my trip. I tiptoe past my mother's room on the second floor, and then I run a pitter-patter down the stairs. In the pitch dark of the shop, I fumble for the keys on the counter and let myself out the front door. The night is warm and inviting. Summer reaches even here in the foothills, for rain pools between all the cracks and crevices, and the air is humid for a foreseeable eternity. The 1- and 2-story buildings come up everywhere. Rain is flat enough. Betwixt the verdant alders, beeches, and grass. When I was very little, there used to be a family for every house. But now half the smokestacks are empty, and most windows are never lit. Somewhere far, but not too far, the city has drawn the eyes of my neighbors. I lock the door behind me and breathe deep. Above the damp soil comes that smell. The smell I've only smelled so many times. So much stronger than I've ever imagined I could smell it. Sweet and delicious sugar. I hear more substance in the yells as I drew closer. The crowd huddled outside of the pub. They are shouting bets. 4 shillings, 8. The crowd's ooze and at the jump doubling, and some louder demanding voices rises above it. "I'm not enough action anymore." As I approach, I glimpse a basket passing between the hands of men and their consorts, a crowd of drunkards and the occasional whore, all gleefully tossing coins at the taller man prancing around with the basket. His extended gait gives me a pause. The way he stumbles about and nearly falls over, it looks like he must be walking on short stilts. His face comes with a modest patch of beard just below his lip, and a bright bristly mustache. He is clean and groomed enough to be taken for a higher class, if not for a poorly concealed patch seams sometimes caught by the fire's light. When I look at him, the senses clarify. The smell, the sweet is his. Oh, I think well done. He bellows. I sneak up just to the lowest edge, so that my small stature might be lost. And the darkness and the rowdiness won't suck me in. I find a log among the gravel and sit on it. The stout man wobbles back to the center of the crowd, standing just behind the fire, which throws long shadows from his legs across his chest and face. His mere stature and presence hushes the crowd into a captivated pause, deeper and louder than before. I bring you ready from a distant land. When the sun's twist and howled through the wind, and the sun crests so close to the earth, you can feel its burn from the rays of the hand. To the south and to the east, to the wide deserts of the horizon, to horizon, from sea to sea, the clouds are made of dust, and the sky is red with fire. He begins to stride carefully and slowly towards the front lines of the audience. And yet, in this place where God's name is foreign, they practice strange magic, a witchcraft that seldom graces the Western world. But in my travels, I stumbled on this swarthy man, playing his tricks for scraps at the pub, and past his wrappings there was a terrible power in those dark eyes. The power that every same power I bring to the maze and astound you tonight. And now I present the Wanderer himself, the mysterious, exotic, all-seeing Zoltan. Behind the stilt man from the back of the wagon emerges a man the likes of which I have never seen. His head is wrapped in black purple cloth so that only his eyes and the bridge of his nose are visible. The thin straps of hair come through and hang around his face, further obscuring his eyes, and behind that curtain a fire dances within him, brought to life in his pupils and shining like a cat's. As he moves, there is a slight jingling that brings me to think of a jeweler. The crowd laughs as he starts to circle around the fire, small chips of metal on his cloak catching the embers and sparkling like stars. He closes his eyes and walks so close to the flames, I fear his clothes might catch. Take your seats. The stout man sits. Zoltan draws your names from the ether. The crowd dutifully sits on the ground or wherever is available, some in the dirt and some on the stools, with a shaky hand, strong and dirty grace, with tarnished bit rings on each finger. Sultan reaches to his forehead and smiles the cloth back. When he takes his hand off below, it is an eye, painted red and purple that glistens like grease in a flickering light. Sultan starts making great motions with his hands, extended to the crowd, like he really is pulling names out of people's heads. He takes deep breaths, and the crowd chuckles at his theatrics. Get on with it, someone slurs. Quiet. The showrunner bites. This naturally takes time. So Sultan winks an eye open to glare at the offender, and he goes back to his blind wondering. Eventually, he lands on one woman and puts his hands on her head. The man with his arm around her seems to lean and slap him off before he can. Smith. Sultan announces. The lady looks around with a stupid smile on her face, her mouth agape.
Hey, any girl can have it.
Sultan points to the interruption. Nick Colon. That's just a pretty click. Sultan continues around this circle, either in order or singing someone out if they interrupt. Padraig O'Della, Fergus, Samuel, Jack Abner, Edmund Fignow. He turns his finger to someone milling about the back. You wouldn't like it if I said your name. Eyes turned and the man chuckles and waved a hand at Sultan, confirming his suspicion. The crowd oozed, and soon people had forgotten all about the wager, and are simply raising their hand, asking the Sultan guess their name. Albert.
In my words,
Maurice.
my daughter.
Trick question. Sultan stares and turns away from him with some flair. She isn't born yet. Another round of pointing and naming. Audrey Elmer, Leon Fetchler, and that one. Sultan seems to reach above the crowd to point at Selma Bridges. The crowd puts on their own sloppy, clumsy way, so that no one stands between myself and Sultan. His finger unerring, his stand still like a fancy swordsman, so that his side is to me and his chin is turned up.
Oh, oh, oh.
Sultan reminds me of his presence.
A young girl stumbled into our midst. And what are you doing up so late?
I stand and stutter.
Me? I
The stout man strides up to me, looking wildly off balance, and yet staying upright the whole time, until he was just in front of me. Even as he kneels to greet me, he is nearly twice my height.
Little girl, you surely don't want to be one with this crowd of hooligans and ne'er-do-wells. Aren't ladies like you tucked in bed at this hour?
I try to get out the sound, but he just continues.
Oh, or could it be?
Leans in close enough that I take a step back, but then pulls something out of his shirt pocket. His voice lowered.
This?
The smell. With him backlit by the fire, I can't make out the object he holds, but then he is standing and pacing back to the jeering crowd, upset as they were by the hooligan title. But where he goes, he leaves a trail, and I, the end, follow the Filename. I toddled forward, trying to keep up with him and whatever he has in his hands, and it seems the rest of the drunkards start to notice.
All the good stuff.
One astute to the observes.
Didn't you run out?
The Sultan doesn't respond, and Sultan obediently relinquishes the spotlight. His glittering cloak that only give away his presence behind the silhouettes of the crowd. He begins the circle.
Right now. There's always room for fun. And we have a special guest now, don't
Once I am well within the boundaries of the audience, he leans down again, and I see that he is holding a single candied nut, like those I remember from Christmas. Just this, my eyes widened. There's such a smell from such a small thing. But I must have it. My hand reaches out, and and he gingerly places the candy into my palm. The audience boos my special treatment. The stuntman ignores them, only watching me chew. It is like nothing I'd ever tasted, sweet beyond compare. To such a degree my teeth hurt. Its surface cuts my mouth like a popped grape. Its juice is nutty, indecadent, and overwhelming. For a moment I can only imagine that I have eaten that which belonged only to royalty, that I have stolen from some forbidden wealth and will soon be punished. But instead, a warm feeling fills my body from head to toe. I feel my cheeks flush and my head fill with air. I nearly fall, but stick out a foot to catch myself.
Wow, that little lady has little tolerance, doesn't she?
The words whirl in my head like they're from another place, and everything left is taste. The colors in my world become coated with candy, the fire rising smoke turning into a cottony pink cloud. The patchwork suit of the platform man dissolves into wild shapes that play and champ at each other, and when he speaks his mouth sheds a light like a jack-o'-lanterns. He grabs my arm to keep me on my feet, and then shakes his head with someone far away from a mob craves that very candy he has given me.
No more.
He fends them off.
She's a special guest. My daughter. My heavens, if I knew you would be so rowdy, I wouldn't have made her part of the act.
I couldn't argue because I haven't the head to tell if he is right or wrong. He lifts me up and puts me on his back, like he's protecting me from a pack of wolves. With my head so light, it feels like a mountain, like he is lifting me into the heavens. And I am at once afraid to fall back down. I begin to mew and moan as best as I can with my will so distorted and my muscles so disobedient of my commands, and he seems to interpret this as my fear of the drunken fools.
Well then, our act must be on the road at once. You people simply can't control yourselves. Toodaloo, and may we never meet again.
He waves Sultan over, who looks like a spattering of the cosmos itself, and we all retreat into the wagon through the back. As we enter, the smell becomes more than a mere scent, but the air itself. It's like we stepped into a sugar oven. The air is warm and intoxicating, so much so that I nearly faint. Our little lady is
A little lady is heavy. Sultan, lay out some sheets for her, and here, pull us out of here. We've collected our dues this night. I don't want to remain for the aftermath.
I moan, trying to get some kind of word to come out. Where are we going? I need to be home. But nothing happens.
What's what's our change look like? Enough for a feast the next town over, and the cleaning of our ladies' hooves. That's that.
Stutman says, placing me on some bench where I sunk over immediately, only able to gently wave my hands outstretched in front of my face and watch the fingers turn from 10 to 20 to 30 until I blink and the nobody gets away. I feel something gentle and wooden coat me from the shoulders to my feet.
There.
Sultan says. I close my eyes, make it go away. I suddenly wish Make it go away, make it go away. Her head spins no matter how much I will against it. Make this all go away.
There,
That man agrees.
she can save the sugar out. Liberty.
When her voices start to get very far away. What do we do with her? There's a pause, or maybe I slip out the consciousness for a second there before I hear the response.
Yeah, find somewhere discreet for the night.
Crickets song, wet leaves on my wet cheek. I'm lying down somewhere dark, light from the corners of my vision, my ears tuned to voice tones.
An animal's hot trick. Do you see what I'm saying?
Some mumbles of agreement. I blink my eyes, my head still light but clearer. My mouth doesn't respond to my once, and neither does the rest of my body. However, with little wiggling I can accomplish, I quickly come my against restraints. She's awake, some noodle voice says.
Thank you. Yeah, I never would have known.
I hear steps, the warm night air meets with my flushing cheeks. To wriggle my jala, only to find my mouth is open, but there's nothing in it. Tied around my head, I create some kind of sound, weak as it is, a, a moan or some such up from my sternum.
Well,
Shonrunner asked,
any other ideas?
my ankles are bound and my wrists are tied behind my back. The dirt meets my skin from my temple to my feet. Fear starts to crowd out the lingering effects of the candy. My muscles tense. I can see nothing but some shifting shadows from the flickering light of a lantern behind me. A tolerant squeal comes through to my throat, and I start to fight hard against the restraints, only accomplishing a change in position from my side to the prone.
Ah,
I hear the rumbling of two pieces of wood together.
it appears I didn't hire conversationalists, did I?
I start to find some kind of rhythm in screaming, which makes me gain ground against their voices. Progress meaning direction. I start to move as fast as I can, like a little worm who's never been a worm before, pushing against the dirt and towards whatever else. A boot is shoved underneath my stomach and flips me onto my back. Up me there is a stuntman without the stilts. A traveling entertainer. A lantern from other source illuminates only the right side of his face. But his eyes catch some flick of the flyer to give them orange coloring pupils that stare down at me through the thick fog of terror and dread.
You are like vision.
He says. He takes one deep breath and then crouches down. I try to wriggle away, but he places his hands on my shoulders and pushes me down into the earth, pinning me. His orange eyes peer through my head. I tried my best to look away, but only when I close my eyes can I escape this awful gaze. He studies me like the men study meat at the butcher.
Hello, you.
He whispers almost only breathes. For a moment, he only looks at me. I hear the shuffling of feet from somewhere With me to my right, there is a cough, and the entertainer looks up, his mustache catching on the light, hanging in the alley with that perfect coil.
Do you need help?
Tyler asked. His eyes returned to me.
No, no. I'm just getting a sense of a newest edition. Selma. Hello, Selma. I'm Herman Fuller. I get the sense that we're going to get along swimmingly. I'm giving you the opportunity to be part of something bigger, something grander, a spectacle for the world to see and love. Only we have to make you something lovable first. And well, that process isn't so easy.
He holds something up to the lantern light that I can't quite make out.
In other words, soft gag. And you may feel a little pinch.
I scream as the wooden blade goes through my right side and out the back. I scream again as the second one mirrors it, and both pin me into the forest floor. My vision swims, and my world loses itself to the shearing of my flesh and the pooling blood underneath my bare back. He stands above me, impassive though I can hardly make him out, past the tears pooling in my eyes.
Zoltan, Kami.
He leaves my vision, every motion, every straining of muscle, only pulls out the wounds of my loins, new orifices leaking my lifeblood. I cry and screech, but the gag muffles my attempts. I hear some kind of physicality.
Kami. I need you to be here for this. You want the first Sultan, and if you're lucky, you can be the last. Do you understand me?
A pause. The crickets have ceased their calls, the stage of my suffering. Of course, he replies, too quiet.
Progress is hard, Sultan. Progress takes fucking effort. I thought you told me. I have the heart for it. I thought you told me I have the gift. Now come here, Sultan, and look at it. Look at progress. Look at it in the eyes.
My cries redouble as a boot stumps the blade further into my side, sawing through my tissue as it goes.
Just you wait. One day, this will be a whole industry. Someone can be on the ground using their hands, and I'll call the shots. But you have to work hard to never walk again. And the work. Oh, the work.
He crouches down and rests both hands on the handles of the wooden knives, staring into my face of agony again.
I'm not very practiced at glowing fire. Selma, I declare that you, then, will be our fantastically intelligent pig. I think that will really sell enough flyers, don't you?
His fingers drum on the handles, and then he stands again. He breathes deep and pumps his arms back and forth.
And a 1, and a 2, and a 3.
He plummets his hands into my stomach with such force that I immediately vomit and begin to choke. He starts to mutter in some language I can't understand. Not that I can't listen for words, not that my mind is taken with the fire clogging in my mouth, preventing the passage of air from my nose to my lungs, burning into my esophagus. But his hand, his hand goes through my skin like his arm, and my cuts have molded into one vein. I begin to feel some things long and separate hands shoot out the point of impact beneath my skin, reaching into my extremities and into my hands and feet. One then coming through the meat of my neck and wrapping around the back of my head. His muttering continues, and the blades begin to burn. My body changes. First, my belly expands, swelling like a balloon, standing with my stomach, but the blood reaches up to my chest and it starts to flow through my neck. Once the transformation reaches my head, something worse begins to happen. My cheeks extend, and I can feel my bones stretch and break, and reform and stretch again. The bridge of my nose pulls forward like a sapling, reaching towards the sun, and my nostrils turn up at the end where there forms a flat face. My eyes drift to the side of my head, and my ears pull up to the top. My cries start to change their tone from gurgled screams to seeks to squeals. My limbs pull at the restraints as there's like a stretch and a flexibility limits. My wrists break free, first pulling in front of me as they're angled up towards the sky, and the ends of my fingers are encased together, and the new hooves made from my extending fingernails. My legs soon follow suit. At the back end of my spine grows and pushes against my skin, fracturing and stretching and healing and flexing again. As soon as it started, it stops. The changes with back to the point of origin, and his hand pulls out of my putty-like stomach, which in its absence hardens into something closer to the skin. He stands the full height and looks down at me, my still human eyes leaking tears from new system I'm not familiar with. My stubby arms turned legs waving into the air, while he inhales, snorting and squealing. He breathes heavily.
Well, that was unpleasant.
He presses some dirt off with his pants, where he kneels on the ground. He turns to his compatriots.
Looks like a pig.
I hear some grunts of affirmation. I start making noise and just lay there, breathing heavily, my lungs weighted by my new layers of fat. Everything feels wrong.
Good. Maybe we can make it walk on 2 legs, or do math. Fantastically intelligent pig. Let's think of a name on the right. Hey, go drag it into the wagon. It should be too tight to fight.
He's right. I don't have good enough control of my body to fight him. Hair heaves my rotund figure with ease and carries me back into the cart. Along the way, the entertainer reunites my gag and throws it to the ground, coated as it is in bile. They toss me in, and the header goes around to the front. The cart begins to move as the entertainer and Sultan sit on either side of me. I just lay and heave.
How's this, Sultan? Herman's fullers, precautions, prince and pig. Eh?
The pause is pregnant. I like it, Sultan replies. Herman takes one sharp breath and reaches over to pat Sultan on the cheek.
I knew you'd come around.
He leans back into his seat and spreads his arms along the headrest, then takes his glittering eyes and looks down towards me.
We'll all be big one day. You just wait and see. Like one big happy family.
He laughs, careless that no one joins him.